It is an honor to introduce our guests today, Mike and Maggie Grayeski, owners of ServiceWise Electric. Mike and Maggie, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
I want to dive right into your story. Tell us about your company, where you're located, how you got started, and about yourself.
Yeah, I'll let you.
So we're located in Holly Springs, Georgia, which is right down the road, which is with bigger area, Canton or Cherokee County. I have been an electrician. This will be my 30th year.
Wow.
So it's something I started right out of high school and kept on going. We've owned the business since '04, and it has been sold and then reopened again. So 2018. 2018, we started back up January 5th.
Okay.
We now employ 15 people. We got 7 vehicles on the road, and an office staff.
How did that come about, going to the early stages of the business? Like, did you have some challenges along the way when you're first starting out?
Oh, yes.
Yes. So the first go round, we call it ServiceWise 1.0.
Okay.
ServiceWise 1.0, that was just him, and it was him and a helper pretty much, and it was just all word of mouth, no advertising. We did stuff a lot differently the first go round, and then we actually sold it to a larger HVAC company who wanted to start an electrical division, and so Mike went over there and started the electrical division over at that company. Got it up to 12 vans.
10 or 12.
10 or 12 vans, and was there for 6 years. And then they sold to corporate, and they just got super corporate-y. We realized it just didn't reflect our morals, our values, and how we want to better serve customers. So after 6 years of that, then we started ServiceWise 2.0 back up. And we learned a lot of good and bad things from being with that larger company. It was definitely, a business school per se. And since then, we've just really been trying just to solidify our foundation and our policies and procedures just so that we can give the best of ServiceWise to our employees as well as our customers.
What inspired you to get started, and specifically in that industry?
I've always been a hands-on guy. So being in the trades, was never, he was an athlete through high school. Grades were never my thing. The schooling itself. So going out right after high school, looking for jobs, of course, trying all the trades, and just ended up being, electrical's a very, it can be done with one man. So it's a one-man show. You could operate it that way. You don't need 2 guys to carry heavy equipment or anything like that. So it's one guy, and the more knowledge you know, the better you can be for the customer, or fixing the problem or adding something. So we're strictly a service company. So there's no new construction aspect of it. So everything we do is typically in front of the sheetrock's on the wall, the nice floors are in, the ceilings are completed.
Oh.
So it's something you got to learn. It's not, you can't just take a new construction guy and stick them in the service industry and say go add an outlet, because there's it's a lot different than just studs or metal.
Yeah, I bet. You mentioned like you could do it that way with the one man, running that by yourself, or even an assistant. What caused you to shift and say, wow, I'm going to need more help and get to where you are today?
So like Maggie said, when we went to a larger company, when I was a one-man show, I used to say, why are people not contacting me? I can do it better, I can do it cheaper, but no one was contacting me besides a word of mouth. Well, when we learned is by marketing, which we always say you got to pay to play.
Yeah.
So if you're not putting marketing dollars down, you're not going to get returned back. So we started, we learned this from this larger company. As soon as we went into 2.0, from day one, we were paying 10% of all of our revenue goes into marketing. So it changed. And then, of course, getting one, everyone's dream of having a business is not to be doing it all themselves. So, when you can't say you have 10 vans on the road, you're making much more money, to be honest. But you're feeding 10 families, you're 10 places at once, the revenue does go up.
And what kind of things do you look for when you are hiring, like, an electrician or?
The main thing, they have to fit our core values and our morals of our company. Like they have to fit the model of what we want to represent to our customers. So they have to fit the ServiceWise.
Personality is huge.
Personality is huge.
What would you say is like your unique selling proposition? What makes y'all stand out?
Our customer service. So we invest in our employees. All of our employees are W-2 employees. We don't sub out any of our work. We take care of our employees. Like we have a very competitive benefit package because we know if we take care of our employees, they're going to in turn take care of the company. So it's a win-win situation. So, we do offer that competitive benefit package to our employees just so we want to take care of them. We want them to be happy to come to work every day and not dread it or anything like that. We want it to be a pleasant work environment where they can thrive and grow and succeed and take care of their families the best way that they can.
I've seen a couple. I've started following you guys on social media. It seems like community involvement seems to be a significant aspect of your business. Could you share some of the ways that you guys are giving back to the local community or supporting initiatives?
So community is huge for us. So we, we're part of the Holly Springs community, which is Canton, which is Cherokee County. So, we're super involved in the community. Mike sits on the board for planning and zoning. I sit on the DDA for Holly Springs. We know that we have to take care of our community in order for it to be a successful community for people to work, play, and live. So, we help out any way that we can, if that's monetary donations, if it's, sponsoring events, if it's volunteering our time, whatever the need may be, we try to fulfill that need in any way that we can.
I love that. That's awesome. Now, for those listeners who may be like in need of electrical services, but they're unsure on like where to start, what advice would you offer them in selecting like the right electrician, for their needs?
Well, so, it's, everybody's different. So the important thing is you want to make sure the right person's in your house. So electrical can go wrong. It's, the number one cause of fires is loose connections in electrical. So if someone's not doing it to code or trained to do it correctly, it could be a consequence, which we don't like to use the F word at our office. The fire word's not it's not a scare tactic when we talk to people. But it's important to make sure, you got to have licensing in Georgia to have a company. There's two types of licensing. There's the restricted and unrestricted. So they both can do anything in a house, but in a commercial building they can't. So we do residential and commercial. So you could have a guy who is licensed or insured to do the commercial side, who can come in your building and do the same thing, but it's not covered by his insurance. So it's an important thing. I
would urge the consumer to just really do their homework on who they're hiring. And you can always go to the Georgia Secretary of State to look up that person's license and just make sure that they are who they say they are. Check their references, check their website. Just kind of check them out before you have them in your home, because it could be very devastating if you hire the wrong person to be in your home doing the repair work. So, just really doing your homework, checking them out, their website, their license, asking for a copy of their insurance, making sure they have that workers' comp like they say they do, because, the one-man show is technically not required to have workers' comp, but it is ideal to have workers' comp. So just doing your homework and making sure that you truly know who you are hiring to come into your home.
Yes, we can post a link to so people can have quick access to it.
Yes.
Because that is super important.
It is.
Have you
really
had
important.
any situations or that have come up?
So we've had people get injured on a job.
Are you talking about for where we've had to come in after somebody has said that they are all the time? So you can speak more on that about how often we have to.
What are the common things that are done incorrectly?
So there's a way to do electrical cheap or do it correctly. So there you can do a wrong wire size fused by the wrong breaker will work, but it will eventually cause a problem. So I've been in a house that people literally, they cut extension cords and just ran them through walls because that's what they had, and this isn't that. And that's mostly a handyman. I don't think a lot of electricians or anyone who knows the electrical field would do that.
Yeah.
But sometimes if it's to get the job done and you just got to run out to my van and use what I have, you can make it work. It's just not always safe or reliable. But we've seen a lot. I mean, in my 30 years, I've seen some terrible stuff.
What are some key factors that have helped you identify areas for growth and expansion with the electrical service industry?
As far as the electrical service industry, you would be better to speak on that.
So technology, of course, is going up. So as technology grows, the breakers are changing. Everything's changing the devices. So any house that's not from 2007 and below has a whole lot different than 2007 and up. And then every 3 years, the code changes, or they amend codes or they add codes. So today's house is much safer than a house of the 80s. As the aspect of the breakers trip when they're supposed to, they're more reliable. So, I mean, you can now turn a light on with your phone.
Yes.
You know, so automation's a lot. Timers, photocells, anything like that. Stuff that you can walk around and it picks up motion going in the bathroom. So, you know, technology has improved us a lot. But it becomes a bigger headache as well.
So just always making sure we're staying on top of the latest technology, making sure our guys are trained properly on the latest technology. They attend code classes every single year to make sure that they are staying compliant, because the code changes every
3 years.
3 years, every 3 years. So just making sure that they're aware of those changes in the codes and stuff like that. So, and then training, we actually just joined a program called Nexstar. And we are very proud members of Nexstar, and it teaches us to invest in our employees through training. So all of our technicians are going through extensive training for their soft skills, for, you know, just, I mean, it's little things that you wouldn't even think of, at least I never thought of, that they needed training on. So now our guys are actually going to an offsite.
The 3 day.
For 3 days.
They get sent away, yeah.
So just really investing in our employees and making sure that they stay on top of, it's ever changing. So we just want to make sure that we're staying on top of it and providing our employees the tools necessary to make sure that they're doing things properly.
That program sounds awesome.
Oh, it's awesome.
It is.
It is.
It's
an eye-opener.
It is an eye-opener. We joined February of last year, and it's just like drinking from a fire hose. Like, it's a lot.
What did the guys say about it once they go through it?
There was some that had a little kickback at first. And then after they went to the training, they come back and they're like, I mean, they said, I'm mind blown. I mean, they come back and they're like, I want to do this, 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 and this. And it's so amazing to see, just they get so excited and they get so amped up, and they're like, we believe in it. We drank the Kool-Aid. We believe in it. Like, we're on board now.
Yeah.
So after you've attended, you know, a training or even though just a webinar, like, I mean, you're just like, I'm sold. Like, it's amazing. It just tells.
Yeah, I mean, you don't understand, like, technicians don't understand the customers anticipating them coming over and the issues. That, you know, the anxiety that's going through that customer is the same thing going through the service tech. And if you don't think about it, you're inviting someone in your house you don't even know to fix a problem. You don't know what it is. So it just teaches them the soft skills on how to explain, we're here to help. We're not here just to fix it. We want to show, we're the company that's going to stand by everything.
Communicate and just really make sure we're taking care of the customer's needs as best we can.
Make it as like easy
Painless.
as possible for them.
Right, because I mean,
peace of mind.
It is, yeah, just giving the customer that peace of mind, because it is scary when you don't know. You know, I get scared of certain aspects of the business that I don't know, and as long as we have the right team member that explains it to me correctly, I'm like, oh, I get that. Like, I understand. I feel comfortable now. But, you know, if they did it another way where they were just hostile and didn't communicate and just did it without talking to me, I'd be like, whoa, wait a minute, you know. So it's just all about how you present yourself and communicate.
Have you always been on the ServiceWise team? Like, you guys being married, and how do you, like, navigate, you know, the business and family life? And
it's tough. I mean, it is tough. I mean, we work together, live together, play together. So, you know, we're learning how to separate business from personal, but it is a struggle. You know, I mean,
I can relate.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, but, you know, it's worth it at the end of the day. Like, who else would you want to do your journey within your best friend? So
there's definitely no secrets.
Yeah.
Yes. How do you leverage, like, each other's strengths for like to navigate the business decisions and overcome potential disagreements, you know?
We're still working on that, and we actually just had a Zoom meeting with our implementation coach this morning, which, he had a lot of insight. I mean, we learn something new every single day.
Yes.
Like we took these DISC profile personality tests,
Okay.
and we're complete opposites. So, I mean, just having the insight of our coach explain to us, just better ways of communicating and responding to each other. It's just every day is something new.
It's a give and take.
Yeah, is the DISC training something that you put your employees through
Yes.
as well?
Yes, we do. We do it on every employee.
Every employee gets it.
And we're about to start implementing it with our day-to-day training and operations with the team so that they can better communicate with their team members.
That's awesome. As a family-owned and operated business, what role do family values play in shaping the culture and operations of ServiceWise?
What are your family values?
Well, I mean, I know before you mentioned some, some core values of your company. So how did you develop those?
That was like a month-long thing that we just literally, we kept making lists and then crossing them out, and then we chose our top five.
Yeah.
Yes, our top five. So
It's like on a basic living, though. I mean, it's do as you say, not as you. What is it?
do as you say, not do. Now we're going to stumble on them.
Take a break. Yeah. It's do as you say as you do. I mean, it's just the basic stuff. That's just one of them. The golden rule.
Work-life balance. Just we want to make sure that we're providing to our team what our core values are.
And they're printed in our office on a huge piece of paper that people can see the core values. If you disagree with them, you're probably not in the right place to work.
Yes. And you mentioned, now you guys have expanded, you're growing your team, your marketing, going back to that, like attracting new customers and establishing a strong brand presence, is essential these days, especially with things the way that digital is moving towards. Can you share some of the marketing strategies that you've implemented to achieve, the success that you've have gotten to today? Like, have there been things that you've seen that have really worked? Maybe some things we tried that didn't.
So I'll tell you what a great thing with people, there's these small groups is what got us all kind of going and getting out into the community, where there's different companies that operate small groups. There's a Power Core, B&I, something like that. Networking. But that was the start of it. You got to get people noticing you. You got to stop doing like work for people who just know you. So once you start getting calls from people who you don't know, it just starts expanding from there. And then the branding is more of a Maggie. We get the billboards, the magazines, and stuff like that. You gotta be noticed.
Yes, so you guys are actively networking in the community, and people put your name out there or tag you online and help you spread the word.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just about building that relationship so that people are comfortable referring us. Right. I mean, like I want to refer somebody that I know does a good job, like I've had that experience with. So it's just about building that relationship so that we want to be the household name when you think of an electrician.
Do you see any collaboration among service businesses potentially benefiting the industry as a whole?
Absolutely. So we have quite a few HVAC companies and plumbing companies that we bounce back referrals on. So if we're out at a job site and the customer needs a new water heater, we have our go-to plumbers that we refer them to, and they, vice versa, do the same thing for us, along with the HVAC companies. So, it's just very important to also build that relationship with those other companies and general contractors, just so that,
you have that go-to person for everything.
Right.
I have someone for this and I have someone for that.
Exactly.
That's awesome. For our listeners who are also service business owners looking to scale, what are some key pieces of advice that you'd share based on your experience?
I would say you have to have a solid foundation before you try to build anything, because if you don't have a solid foundation, everything you try to put on top of that is just going to crumble. So making sure you have that solid foundation first, making sure you have written policies and procedures in place so that you can go back. That's the only way to grow are those three things. Because if you don't have those three things, no matter what you do, you're not going to grow. You're just.
And when you say good foundation, what do you mean? Can you expand on that?
So, you got to have a budget and everything like that. So when we started the business, we lived as frugal as possible and dumped it back into the business. Enough to get a next van and the next van and the next van. I only came out of the service van a year ago. So, I mean, I was literally back in the field until it got big enough where someone needed to step out.
Right.
So
having a game plan, like
yeah, you have to the game plan.
Financial side of things.
Well, financially, you have to be ready for it.
Yes.
Because I mean, we all know people with small businesses who just live out of their small business like a piggy bank. We from day one we focused on putting money back into the business, which helped grow the business. Because
Right.
you need the funds if you're not taking loans and stuff. We can do it ourselves now.
Were there some key resources that people can find? Like, has there been something that was really helpful, going back to like the good foundation and
Hard work.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it really boils down to just hard work and dedication and treating others the way you want to be treated, and just trying to go out there and do the best every single day.
where do you see the company going? Like,
We're going up. Yeah.
we were still going back and forth on how many vans we want to expand to, but we definitely want to expand at least to 15 vans, and then we do want to start other divisions.
how many do you have currently?
We have 7.
7.
Okay,
We
so
have
the goal
7
would be
vans.
like 15.
But we have kids who both, we have a son in the Navy who is in electronics, wants to come back and run it or work it. We have a daughter in business in college. Hopefully they'll revert back to it. Let them go out and see what it's like out there first. But yeah, I mean, we want to stick around in the community and grow in here. I mean,
You think they'll fill in your shoes one day?
I hope so. It's I don't know. We go back and forth with them.
Yeah.
The son's aboard. The daughter's still, she's young. But when you're trying to work for other people, and you realize that my family's got a business I can do the same thing for, it'll probably change your mind.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it all turns out.
Leaving that legacy and
Right.
for your children.
Well, it'd be nice having my father was a printer. So, I mean, we'd actually have a second generation electrician as the son takes it over, the daughter, I mean, it's how businesses become, staples in the community.
Yes. If you could offer one last piece of wisdom or inspirational message, something that's been impactful to you, maybe we haven't talked about, but if you'd like to share anything with our listeners, final thoughts.
Just don't give up. It's always going to be something. I mean, there's always going to be an issue coming up every single day. It's going to be something else, but just don't give up. Just keep moving forward and focus on the path of where you want to go, that direction, and just keep that in focus and just keep moving forward.
Yeah. Resolve all your issues. You don't push them under the carpet. If an issue arises, take care of it, hit it head on, find a solution, and then move to the next, issue in the business. Because just keeping on burying stuff it's never going to work out that way. Financially, take care of everything that needs to be taken care of, and keep on growing.
Yeah.
Take a chance. You got to work hard. I've sat in front of people like, well, I want to be where you're at, but he's a one-man show and he's eating lunch with me. And I'm like, so you need to be working and not eating lunch.
Yes.
So go get it. So you got to have a drive for it, I guess.
I love that. Just perseverance and just not quitting, implementing, and readjusting. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Mike and Maggie. I really appreciate your insights and you sharing and being on the podcast today. It's really been incredible value, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
Yes.